everybody listen to Darren Carter. Yeah. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to a pocket party. Pocket party. Darren.
This is Morgan Freeman, and you are listening to one of the most important podcasts ever made in the history of podcasting, the Pocket Party Podcast with my good friend, Darren Carter.
And we're back. This is exciting. I have a Bluetooth set up here with the recorder. The Bluetooth just came in, so the quality should sound excellent. So we're going to call Mike Black Attack. Ooh, that sounds good. Hello, and welcome. You are on the Pocket Party Podcast, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. So you said you got an alert from your recorder?
Yeah, but I just tested it to see. Yeah, I did a little for the listeners at home. They're
on the edge of their seats.
They're like, what
could this alert have been?
I know. It said write error, like you're writing write error, and I'm like, what the hell? But then I played it back and it was still recording. I don't know why it did that, but yeah, I'm looking at the timer. It's recording. We are golden. Let's go viral. Let's go. Oh, that might not be a good thing to say during a pandemic.
not when it's two dudes over the phone.
Going viral.
Let's go viral.
I know. Yeah. We went viral. We were in bed for 2 weeks, not with each other, but
that's the kind of call that gets monitored.
I know.
They said they were going viral. We don't know what it means.
Yeah, my posts keep getting. You ever feel like you're getting shadow banned, but you just realize I got to put something more interesting up.
Only by the ladies.
Yeah, you're like, welcome to my world, guys. I've been shadow banned for years.
They're like, I'd rather you not follow me on social media.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I have those moments where I'm like, because I kept hearing that phrase shadow banned, and I was like, yeah, I wonder if I'm being shadow banned.
I'm not 100% certain what it means, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
I think it means that, like, they're just not showing your content to a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're like secretly Instagram or Facebook or whatever is like, that guy kind of sucks. We're not going to waste everyone's time with him. So,
I know.
So he's shadow banned. I know, like, a lot of, like, models will post a risque picture or something like that, and then claim they got shadow banned because nobody liked it.
Yeah, I know. Because sometimes you'll be like, maybe you're like, I'm shadow banned from the industry, the entertainment industry.
Yeah, and it's like that's a comforting thought. Really, it's like either I'm shadow banned or I could just suck, and nobody actually likes the content I'm putting out.
Yeah, I wonder why I got shadow banned from the entertainment industry. It all seemed to happen around my 40th birthday.
I've been shadow banned. Well, you also haven't written a new joke since 2008.
Exactly. I know.
You might have shadow banned yourself, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be easier just to blame others than yourself. That's the old...
You don't know how tough it is being a straight white guy in comedy. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I'm shadow banned.
No, I don't know that, but I do know every single joke in your act.
Exactly.
That might be a problem.
Yeah, it could be swapped with other straight white males. You guys
yeah, exactly. Even worse. Yeah.
I know. There are comedians that are like that, right? You could swap out there. You wouldn't know who's doing what. You're just like, okay. That's what's so good about when a comedian creates almost like a character for themselves, where you're like, or an entertainer.
Like, to me, that was the best thing about what Mitzi was doing at the store, was that she was really encouraging people. She didn't care what kind of comedy you did, so long as it was genuine and yours and came from your life and your experience. Because it's like you give 100 comics, they all stay in hotels. They all get on airplanes and eat airplane food. So there's like a ton of overlap.
Yeah.
That's like, you watch like the comedy of the 80s and the 90s and stuff, and you see a lot of hotel jokes and a lot of airplane food jokes.
Yeah.
And it's like, because we're all having that experience, and it's very rare that anyone is having a really, really original experience with airplane food or with a hotel.
And sometimes it's hard to do that really original experience material, like your first few years in, because you're playing bars and open mics and
right, and like the funniest stuff though is the road stories and the like very unique to you things that can't really be copied.
Exactly.
The one I'm thinking of like off the bat right now is the Bill Cosby one about Jeffrey when he's on the plane and there's this kid named Jeffrey.
Oh, remind us.
I don't remember exactly how it goes, but basically this kid is just raising hell on the plane, and everyone just when he first got on the plane, it's adorable. He's like, "I'm 5 years old," and everyone's like, "Yeah, how cute!" He's like, "It's a 6-hour flight though," and Jeffrey became much less adorable as time went on. Because he just kept, "I'm 5 years old, I'm 5 years old," and screaming at the top of his lungs when he didn't like something. And, he's like, by the end of the flight, everyone hated Jeffrey. The entire flight just hated him. And he'd finally, sputtered out and gone to sleep. And,
that's the
and he said that, the payoff for everyone was, he was like, everyone took great delight in waking Jeffrey on their way off the plane. He'd fall asleep and then, "Goodbye, Jeffrey!" Ah! And that's a very one-time, unique, never going to happen to anyone else exactly that way sort of experience.
Yeah, and when you're starting out, it's like it'd be very difficult to do, especially where I started. I don't know where you started, but I started in Fresno, and it was like those blue collar rooms. We're gonna do a bowling alley, or we're going to do a banquet room at the bowling alley. We're going to do this country redneck bar, like this women's shelter, this juvenile hall, like these crazy venues, And so for me back then, the reason I would get a lot of work pretty much right away, because my jokes were real quick, and it was physical humor and voices, and and as I look back, I'm like, oh, that stuff wasn't super duper original, but it looked funny coming from a kid with bright red hair who was like some skinnier old 19-year-old, 20-year-old.
Right. I think a lot of comics go through a similar sort of phase before, that ramps up to them finally actually doing stand-up. And then a lot of similarity on the way. And then you find your voice. They say it takes about 7 years. But then you find your individual sort of voice.
Yeah.
But I think most guys start out telling jokes that they heard on TV or whatever to their friends.
Yep.
They're just really good at it and really pay attention to the detail and stuff like that.
I remember I would do a mixture of both. I'd say something kind of quiet to the person next to me. I wasn't a class clown, but I would tell them something if I was comfortable, and then they would laugh, and then maybe and then I'd get a little group that would want to sit by me back there, and I'd crack them up, and it was really cool. I wasn't the kind that would say it super loud in front of everybody. And then I remember at one point it was a combination of saying my own little thoughts and repeating Eddie Murphy's first album. And I remember this girl was like, she's like, "You are so funny." And I'm like, "But that's not me though. I didn't come up with it. I'm just repeating it."
Well, yeah. And I think comics are the first ones that even before you get into comedy, that mattered to you, you I don't know, you probably had this where you'd hear another guy tell a joke, like a Seinfeld joke or something like that, and people would laugh, and you're like, "That's not his joke."
Yeah.
You're like, that dude is lying to everyone.
Right.
But that only matters to comics.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Even when you'd have a conversation, I'd be like, "Oh, my friend said this, blah 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 blah." I don't want the credit for even though it's we're just two people talking in an airport that will never see each other again. I'm like,
Yeah, most people don't care about that. They'll tell a Robin Williams joke and everyone go, "Oh, that guy's really funny," and they'll just go on with their life,
Yeah.
happy about that. Hey, that joke worked. I've had people when I was a kid, I was just kind of funny, and I would tell I thought it was fun, to sit in the back of the class and whisper shit to other kids.
Yeah.
That was funny, and then watch them crack up and get in trouble. But sometimes some of the smarter kids, I would whisper something funny to them and they would just say it loudly and get everyone would start laughing and they'd get in trouble, but they'd also get more popular, and everyone's like, that kid's really funny. And I'm like, that kid's not really funny. Fuck him.
Exactly. Yeah.
He just told my joke louder.
Yeah, exactly. And then as life goes on, you start to, like you said, the little minutia of your own life, you'll see something, you'll kind of giggle and go, that's kind of funny. Like last night, I'll tell you a real quick example. Like last night, I go to kiss my son goodnight. He's laying in bed, and I guess just the way that because normally I just sort of good night, son. But I kind of, I put my knees on this cushion. I kind of slithered over. It looked a little more of like a slithering kind of thing. And he goes, he goes, Dad, you look really old right now. And I go, what, really? I go, what is it about me that looks really old right now? And he goes, your face. And for some reason, and he had these braces and he gives me a big old smile. It made me laugh because I'm sitting there going, dude, I just did some push-ups tonight. I rode my bike. I'm trying to look young and feel healthy. And what the fudge, man? I look old. Well, what is it about me right now? Because he said the right now part is the part that made me.
Well, wait, did you say what the fudge also? Because that makes you sound really old.
What the fudge? Oh, that's good. I said, what the fudge right now, huh? I've been trying to make that a conscious habit of not cursing, just to, I try to. But and I find that if I even say it in my daily life when it doesn't matter, I'm not, then it's just becoming a positive habit. I mean, trust me, I still say the other one.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you give a damn?
I don't know. You know what it is? I think it's just, I don't know. For me personally, I'm trying to make my comedy to the high, what I consider for myself the highest level. And sometimes when I get I'm not gonna, I was almost say get spooked, what the fuck, or something, I might curse, what the fudge? No, something moved behind that tree over there. No, but
I love that. I love that anyone thinks it matters.
I know.
When
no one's
they
keeping
play
score. I know.
When they play your highlights reel on the way to heaven, they go, "Ooh, you were doing great." Yeah. And then you say, in 2018, you dropped an F-bomb in public.
Dropped a lot of F-bombs, D. No.
Man.
Yeah.
But what about all the charity work? Yeah, that's cool and all.
Yeah.
But we just can't let you. I rescued an orphan from a fire. That's how I died. Yeah, I know. But you also, when you were on fire, you were like, fuck, put me out, and that we can't have it.
I should have said fudge, put me out. I should have said fudge, put me out. Fudge.
Yeah,
this is a bunch of bull feathers.
Offended a lot of people that you were rescuing. So we can't. And it was a kid. You said it in front of a kid. I was on fire. Well, we can't have it. I'm sorry.
It's funny. I think I told you this on the phone, but I'll say it on the podcast. We were raised to not curse at our house growing up. It was just I don't know if it's because it was a foster home and there was different kids coming in and out, and they were trying to be like, we're all gonna. This is a military type of home. We're going to be strict and have rules and give the kids chores and go to church 3 times a week and all this kind of stuff, right? So what I would do is at home, I was like, okay, mind my P's and Q's, all that. And then at school, I was like, and I'd curse up a storm, and it was super fun. And then I'd go back home and be like, I'm back to my little nerdy square kid. I'm a quiet kid that doesn't curse. And then,
you know what? I love that because I never had it, but I'm going to curse sort of thing that kids would get. Because my parents cussed a blue streak. They could not help it. They were just my dad was in the Navy and my mom I don't know, she's from Texas, so they just cussed a lot. And they were real bad about it. And so I started cussing when I was a little kid, and they would try to be mad at me. but they were like, we're really on shaky ground disciplining this kid.
Yeah.
Because I also had two older brothers that were like, one was like 10 years older and one was like 12 years older than me from my mom's first marriage. So they cussed all the time too. So it was basically like, there is a no cussing rule in this house just for you. Everyone else is allowed to do whatever they want, but you can't cuss. So I've been cussing, and I'll make the distinction. I've been cussing very well since I was about 6. Like, not only was I cussing, but I knew what each of the words meant and like how they worked in a sentence and which ones don't work and stuff like that. You know, I really knew how to cuss impeccably well from about 6 on. And so the funny thing about that was by the time I was about 10, I was kind of over it.
Oh, that's
like
good.
I'd still cuss here and there, but I took no delight in doing it. And it wasn't until I would like talk to my friends and I would cuss and I'd see their jaw drop or whatever, you know, that I'd be like, oh, right, I forgot normal people don't do this all the time. And of course, I got in trouble a lot at school for that. But I had one teacher who was like an old battle axe, like she was should have been in the 1800s type school marm sort of teacher. Like I know every day at home, she like did the rosary and then like thought, should I bring the switch today? Nah, no, they'd call it abuse now, you know.
Yeah.
So, but like she caught me saying crap or something, not even one of the good ones.
Oh, wow.
And she goes, young man, you just said a filthy word. And I was like, which one? And she was like, you know the one you said. And I was like, oh, crap. I was like, that doesn't count. And she goes, it most certainly does, young man. Like, and so, like, she was so incredulous about the whole thing. She was like, how dare you say such a...
And how dare you try to get me to say it back to you?
So she gave me... At our school, they called them pink slips, which I thought was hilarious. Even as a kid, she was like, you're getting a pink slip. And I was like, all right, I screwed up. Do we have to make a big deal? You can't say screwed either. And that, I was so frustrated that I went, well, God damn it, what can I say? And she's like, now you're getting three pink slips you'll get.
Oh no! I picture a young Mike Black walking down the hall with just like a big pile of pink slips. Like,
that was exactly what happened. And and I'm walking down the hall and I'm like, son of a bitch, I probably cussed more on that hallway walk than I had all year.
Yeah, hell yeah, you did.
And, I get to the principal and I hand him all the pink slips and I was like, I'm in trouble. And he was like, okay. And he started reading them and he started laughing so loud that the secretary came in and she was like, what's so funny? And he hands her the pink slips and then she starts laughing and he goes, okay, well, you have to sit in the corner and just read Dr. Seuss for the rest of the hour and then you can go back to class.
You know why I was just thinking as an adult why that was probably even extra funny to them? Because number one, it's a cute situation and they probably already know that teacher is sort of a problem, like with the stick up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, really? She's sending us for this? He said crap. It's like, I
didn't put it together until years later that I was like, oh, they weren't laughing at me. They were laughing at her.
Yeah. Well, no, here's what happened to me here when I was a kid. So I'm cursing secretly at school, getting it all out. Like, this is fun. I think I even like yelled it and stuff, like when we'd play soccer or whatever. Like, it was just fun, man. Like, just, free, and then like, and then at home, I remember we had a dog, and this is back when we used to have like animals in our house, right? Like, like we'd have like dogs and cats, and we had a rabbit and a turtle outside, and by the way, we had a turtle, and it was his name was Mr. King, and they called him Mr. King because it was one of my father's coworkers, but we weren't allowed to call the turtle Mr. King when the real Mr. King came over. It's like, because that'd be kind of weird. Like, hey, why did you name that turtle after me? It's like kind of weird because you work slow. You know what I mean? So that's another a joke I got as an adult. Like, oh, that's actually pretty funny. But
yeah.
So, but I remember we had this dog. and I think he was a French poodle or something. I don't know. I mean, his name was Pierre, and for some reason I didn't know he was behind me, and I stepped on him, and he went ow, and he kind of tried to bite me, and I go, son of a bitch, and it got super quiet. You could have heard like a pin drop. And my mom was like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, I go, it slipped out." And she's like, "It slipped out. You should never have been saying it in the first place. How could it slip out if you?" I was so busted, and I was like extra mad at the dog and myself and my mom. But technically, I was kind of right? Like it was a son.
I like that you were mad at the dog
exactly,
and yourself. Everyone is to blame.
I know exactly.
But that's kind of messed up. You can't. I never thought it was fair to hold it against a kid when it's a crazy situation like that, where it's like you can't hold what people say when they're getting attacked by an animal.
I know,
against them.
Right?
That just really doesn't seem fair. And it's like it's not your fault that you heard it somewhere. And that it fit the situation,
Hey, do you happen to have access to Google right now? Because I'm afraid to do it on my phone.
I think I can, yeah.
You can look this up real quick. Look up rules for teachers in the 1900s, like 1910, something like that. I saw this list when I was at the LA County Fair, and it said list, and it was like a list for school teachers it was, I think, 1915 or something, but it's pretty interesting, some of the strict rules those teachers had back then, especially compared to now. I know it was over 100 years ago, but
I see on Snopes.com they have 1872 rules for teachers.
Yeah, let's hear some of those rules. If you just pick out some of the better ones. I remember one of the rules was women were not to be seen at teachers were not to be seen at ice cream parlors after sundown.
Okay, yeah, let's see. List of claim document issued in 1872 lists rules of behavior for public school. It's a legend. They don't know if it's true or not, basically, but it says rules for teachers 1872. Number 1, teachers each day will fill lamps and clean chimneys. Number 2, each teacher will bring a bucket of water and a scuttle of coal for the daily session. Number 3, make your pens carefully. You whittle nibs to the individual taste of the pupils.
Dang.
Number 4, men teachers may take one evening each week for courting purposes, or 2 evenings a week if they go to church regularly.
Oh, wow. That's probably why people start dating at church.
Yeah. It was insanely difficult to get laid if you were a teacher in the 1800s.
Yeah.
So
damn,
we're giving you 2 days.
I had my one shot this week. Dang it.
Yeah. Honey, where's my scuttle of coal? I got to get to work. Number 5.
Hey, I got something you can whittle. Hey. And isn't it whittle? Wow.
It is whittle. You said it was just right.
Yeah.
Number 5. After 10 hours in school, the teachers may spend the remaining time reading the Bible or other good books.
Dang.
That's after 10 hours. The school teachers. Okay, number 6. Women teachers who marry or engage in unseemly conduct will be dismissed. So you can't get married if you're a school teacher. Number 7. Every teacher should lay aside from each pay a goodly sum of this earning for the benefit during their declining years, so that they will not become a burden on society. Basically, that was the retirement plan: was keep some of your money in a jar so that we don't have to feed you.
Yeah.
Any teacher who smokes, uses liquor in any form, frequents pool or public halls, or gets shaved in a barber shop will give good reason to suspect his worth, intention, integrity, and honesty. So don't you dare get shaved in public.
Yeah.
The teacher who performs his labor faithfully and without fault for 5 years will be given an increase of 20 cents per week in his pay, providing the Board of Education approves. And then there are some variations. never make noise or disturb your neighbors as you work, be silent during classes, do not talk unless it's absolutely necessary. Oh, these are for the students. Yeah, respect your schoolmaster. Bring firewood to class. That's an important one.
Yeah. So the list I saw,
when attacked by a bear, do not yell, "Son of a bitch!"
Exactly. Yeah. Because that'd be the wrong animal. But I remember when one of the things I saw on the list that I was looking at, it said like teachers should not color or dye their hair. And I think, back then it was probably to get the gray out. But I mean, now it's just so funny. Now you're looking at teachers with like pink hair, purple hair, blue hair, like just,
right.
Just the whole, I mean, it's not even the same.
Mohawks, it doesn't even matter. Yeah.
Yeah. And what made me think of that list, because I saw the list and then I saw like something online like a couple months ago, like some angry, she looked like a kind of a younger, attractive teacher, probably like, she was like 24. Or something. She looked like a young lady, but she had her window down and she was cursing at people. She's like, "You motherfucker." She's like, "I'm a goddamn teacher in this fucking town. You better And I was like, oh my gosh, this would not hold up in 1912.
She wouldn't have been allowed to vote or speak
or even drive like that.
Any number of things. She certainly couldn't get a shave,
Exactly, in public. Yeah. Oh yeah, now people are doing. They didn't do Brazilian waxes back then, not in America, to my knowledge. Did they?
No, a Brazilian wax would have been considered witchcraft at that time. They would have burned you at the stake.
Hair from your pubic region. For what reason? For what reason would you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, you were a lady of the night if you did anything like that,
Yeah,
that you're basically a pirate if you're coming into town with a wax job,
Yeah. We're running out of time. I got to let you. I know you got other things to do, but I wanted to do a quick short podcast because Mike Black is just he's audio Prozac. He makes us a little happier and gives us a little laugh and a little joy. And I like that phrase. Speaking of giving credit, I learned that phrase from Steve Simone, our buddy Steve Simone. He calls certain songs audio Prozac, and I'm like, man, it's really cool that you're still on the West Coast. So many of our friends have moved to Florida or Nashville or Austin, Texas, and
I'm just hunkering down, trying to wait it out. Every day I'm just like, the vaccine's coming.
I know.
Sitting here with my shotgun and my canned goods. Any day now, the vaccine's coming.
You know what, Mike? I got really lucky, man. Like I got to leave California a couple times recently, and it was so different when you leave LA. Like I got to perform in Phoenix, Arizona. I did 3 nights. I did one show on a Friday, 2 on a Saturday. And it was great to that was my first time of like, wow, like it's different now. Like I'll give you a quick example. Yeah. Like I took an Uber from my place in Burbank to the Burbank airport, and the guy picks me up in his, Toyota, and he had like a makeshift like plexiglass that he duct taped to the headrests, and there's still like room for air to go over the plexiglass, under it, through it, around. It's like, okay, whatever.
He didn't really think it through, but yeah.
Yeah. He's got he remained seated in the driver's seat the whole time, and I for comedic purposes, I would love to say that he was wearing gloves, but he wasn't. He wasn't wearing gloves, but he was just sitting there the whole time. No biggie, whatever. And I get my own luggage, pull it out. It's all good. He has a little latch. Ding. I shut the door. All right, good day, sir. Now, when I land in Phoenix, the driver hops out right away. Hey, my name's Glenn. Nice to meet you. I'm like, damn.
Shakes your hand.
Yeah, basically, he starts touching my luggage, picking it up, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. I haven't had this kind of thing in 10 months. Like, this is totally, like I was still in quarantine.
He's doing like the Italian greeting. He kisses you on each cheek.
Exactly. Yeah. Then he sits down and he before he starts up the car, and he goes, now it's about a 30-minute drive. Did you want to keep that mask on the whole time? And I go, not really. And he goes, great, I'll remove mine as well.
You tricked me, sir.
Exactly. And then I was like, damn. So then I was like, well, I go, yeah, you know what? I'll just crack the window a little bit. And then, of course, once you get on the freeway, it's like blowing. You can't even hear anything. So I'm like, let me just roll the window up. But that was my first jump into like, what's it? And then when I went to Phoenix, I went to like my favorite restaurant on the road is Cracker Barrel, and they have the best pancakes and the whole vibe. I like it, the old timey stuff, and the a lot of TV shows from the 70s and 80s that they still sell, on DVDs and stuff. And that's the same thing. You wear the mask when you first walk in. You sit down at your booth, and then so.
Yeah, even that they're still selling DVDs is kind of charming.
yeah, exactly. And then I went to Texas the next week or 2 weeks later. I went to El Paso, Texas, and that was even like more like, wow, okay, we are. I mean, the club had like easily over 100 people each night, and they were spaced out, but they weren't like you're indoors. They're spaced out. The people had to wear the masks when they walked in and when they walked out, but like you got to be on a stage in front of people. And it was just interesting to go back to LA. I did a show, luckily Saturday, in a parking lot where people are like, we're in our cars and you guys are, it's like, okay, it's back.
I haven't been to one of those. Those sound so dreadful to me. Like, isn't it that they honk when they think something's funny?
Yes. They, let me tell you, I've done 4 of them. The first one was great because it was in Ventura County and it was a mixture. It was like people in their cars. And then you had people standing. It was in the summer, so the people were standing outside of their car. And then there was also, they had about, 10 tables in the front of the stage. And even though they're about 25 feet away, at least you had real human beings to look at. So that was actually a pretty good experience. And then they had a projector and so that gave it a real great experience. I did a couple more. I did one in the bowling alley parking lot, and it was maybe 11 cars. That felt really weird. It didn't feel. There's no project. That felt a little strange. And
it's almost like performing in a bowling alley under normal circumstances.
I know. And then I did that same parking lot on a weekend, not on a Sunday night, but on a Saturday night. And there was about 35 cars, and it was pretty. It was a lot better. I was like, oh, I could actually get used to. This is like, okay, I get this vibe. But I got to be honest, the one that I recently did at the Roosevelt Hotel in the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, that one was really good because people have their windows down, so you're hearing the laughter. They're honking their horns. I'm beatboxing and getting them to honk their horn on a beat. So I go, when I put my arm out like this, hit that horn. So I go, honk, honk, honk. So it was actually really fun to get them to honk their horn. And then this was funny. After about, I would do my little thing like that and bring up, I hosted the show, so I'd bring up comedians, and then after about an hour, the event planner, the people running it, they were like, hey, the general manager asked if we could stop doing it because the people that live in those apartments are complaining about the horns.
Oh shit! Yeah,
yeah. So I went back up one more time. I go, all right, everybody, and I told them what I just told you, and I go, no, let's get it out of our system. One last one. 3, 2, 1, go. And then I go, from now on, we're just going to flash our lights, and they did it. I go, give me those bright lights, and they do it. It felt like a conductor, and I go, man, I feel like I can make you guys do anything. Let's turn on those windshield wipers, and here's a joke you could do. Like I did this. I go, very diverse audience. We got Chrysler, Toyotas, Fords, Mustangs, Teslas, yeah.
This is what it's going to be like performing when things go Mad Max later on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it'll all only all the cars will be like all rusty and have like chains on them and stuff. And,
yeah.
And hecklers can just run you over when they don't like your jokes.
Oh, dude, I thought about that because I had the wireless mic, and at one point I started doing instead of crowd work, kind of like car work. Like I jumped off the stage and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, and then I realized and then somebody started up their engine, but they just started up to turn the heater on. But I realized wow, you could actually run me over right now. This isn't good. And I just and I like the crowd. You could hear them laughing. It's so funny. If you haven't been there, it sounds weird because you're like, because I told my friend, he goes, how could you hear them laughing? I go, well, they had their windows down and like the hatchbacks. A couple of people had like those hatchbacks, and they would pop open the hatchback and then back their car in. So they're actually like,
they're like camping.
Yeah, but it was really funny to see that compared to like just 2 weeks before. I'm in a real club in a real situation. Like I gotta be honest, I felt like it was even busier this time than it was like the last time I was at that club. Like I'm like, you're actually doing better now. You know
Yeah,
what?
they probably peeled back a few more restrictions and stuff, as
Yeah.
time's gone.
You know what's
Yeah, and it's like I'm not against that. I just feel like I hope we don't get in a situation, and I feel like a lot of people are going to, where they get COVID like right before they get a vaccine.
Oh yeah.
Where they're
Yeah.
like, darn it, if we'd have just waited a week,
I
before
know.
we get everything. And I also worry that like people are going to get the vaccine and go, all right, time to schedule an orgy. And it's like, it's not that we're
I
not
know.
there yet.
You know what I'm doing too is I'm even though I'm a redhead, a ginger, I am getting more sun because they say that vitamin D is supposed to help you a lot. Like a lot of the shut-ins and the older people that weren't getting a lot of sunlight are like, so I've been just getting out there, just 15 minutes a day, 20, just trying to purposely, get some sun, like as opposed to,
Yeah.
where like I accidentally get some sun. I'm like, let me just do this. But who knows? But all I know is it felt great to hear the laughs and connect with people again, and
Yeah.
just like, man, Mike, it'll be, man, when you get out there again, it's gonna be great. You're gonna be like, oh, I miss this. It's so weird. Like,
Yeah, I was just thinking about it a lot yesterday because I was just going through my phone and saw like old pictures from different shows and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I miss live audiences and stuff.
yeah, what's funny is I had two, and then we should wrap it up. And by the way, thank you for doing this. I really do appreciate
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
I brought a camera with me this time on the road. I brought a camera and a lavalier mic so I could get a really good audio recording and sync up the sound. And I was like, let me document some of these shows and some of the experiences. And it was cool,
Yeah.
man. In Texas, I had a few people say like how great the show was and how great it felt to laugh again. And believe it or not, they said, they go, that tonight changed my life. And I was kind of being the humble part of me in my mind going, oh, this person's just drunk but then they told the feature act the same thing. And they told him a little bit more. The guy goes, tonight you guys changed my life, man. My dad has cancer and I've just been taking care of him, and just to get out and hear the laughter, and you guys are so funny, and whatever, all those great compliments. And
Yeah.
I didn't film him, but there was a couple other people that said really nice things, and I said, hey, I'm doing a little documentary. You want to say pretty much what you just said on camera? And they both did it. One guy was in the military. Apparently he'd seen me before, and I gave him some swag before he went to Afghanistan. So there was like this connection. So when he saw the show, it made him feel really good again. And another guy, it was his first time seeing me. It was really cool. It was like a young black kid that was 26. He'd never heard of me, never seen me before. And he names all these comedians, like all black comedians. Like, he goes, I've seen Robin Harris, I've seen Martin Lawrence, I've seen Eddie Murphy.
Oh, wow.
He's like, but tonight I met Darren Carter, and Darren Carter and I was like, oh, that's good. Because I felt really good,
What a great group of comics to be lumped into.
I know.
Like Robin Harris, people don't know.
I know.
Man.
Baby's kids. Yeah.
Nowadays, people just don't know. That dude, put Baby's Kids aside, that dude was funny as hell.
I know.
And he died way too early. But he really never broke mainstream in a big way. Like a lot of people know Baby's Kids, but they don't know it was his,
Yeah.
And, but that dude was hysterical. And he was like so good at crowd work and at messing with the audience and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was one of those guys that I saw him and I was like, that guy's going to be big. And he got like as big as you could get before you die,
Yeah.
But you can't see that part coming. I could, I'd be in a different business. But
I know. And then that was Saturday night, right? So Thursday was good. Friday was great. Saturday was unbelievable. That was the best night. That was the night where I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then Sunday, It was just, I don't know if because it snowed in Texas that day, because it was Valentine's night, like all these things. It was a Sunday. Maybe people were forced to go because, well, we got to go do something. We already got the Valentine's. Dude, I kind of bombed. We all kind of bombed that night. Even the MC in the beginning of the night where he's like, come on, you guys can do better than that. Like they still couldn't do better than that. It was just like I had this.
I always think of the audience. They have to be thinking it's not our job to do better.
Exactly. You be better. You give us a reason to laugh.
It's your job to do better than that.
Yeah. But I had that moment where it flashed in my brain, and I thought, wow, this, because everyone's like, oh, crowds are going to be so primed for laughter after the. I'm thinking on that Sunday night where I was kind of bombing, I was like, man, I guess you could still bomb after COVID. Okay, it's like people.
Well, it's the middle of winter, Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I know.
And everyone's in their car, and you're doing it. It's going to be a little depressing to a lot of people. It's going to be kind of hard to get them out of that funk.
I know.
No matter what they're thinking about, it's better than this.
And you know what's great, Mike? Man, if you look at like the protests and all the craziness that happened over the summer and if you look at, I don't look at social media anymore like I used to it at all. I used to always go to Twitter like it was the news, and I'm like, I don't need to see that. They're just doing clickbait headlines. They're just going to invoke emotions, and I don't want that. Do not want that. I mean, I tweeted this. I did tweet this coincidentally, but I've been watching like sitcoms at night if I can. Like if I'm like, you know what, I'm in the mood for Three's Company, and I'll watch like 3 of them back to back just to feel good and laugh, because it's like that's way better. And what was my point? My point to this was
you watch a lot of TV.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, my point was if a person only looks at social media or these crazy videos that go viral, like people fighting in public and racial fights, and then it's a weird world. But in the real world, when I'm out there, like all ethnicities that I saw are laughing together, or like spreading love. It's just a fun thing, and you can even still say things. People aren't going to cancel you, or because not that I say crazy things, but I remember I had this moment because on my set I use that flashlight. I go, then I break out the flashlight, and I start waving it around. Well, even on the night I quote unquote bombed on the Sunday night, there was like the first 3 tables were a lot of like black people and like on dates, right? Like it was like and young too. And I had this thought because they were laughing. I had this thought because I remember bombing like on a Mobetta Monday at the Hollywood Improv when it's quote urban night, and doing my flashlight and no one's really laughing, and so for some reason I said this. Just came out of my mouth on that night, and I never would have said this in print because I thought, well, people might get offended and blah blah blah. But I'm beatboxing, the flashlight comes out, and I'm doing all my crazy stuff, and then I just stopped and I go, man, you guys are a good crowd. I go, what's good when I can break out a flashlight and the black people still laugh.
Wow.
And the reason I got that is because somebody prior, like in the past, like a year ago, goes, man, he was joking with me. He goes, man, black people, we get nervous, man, when we see that flashlight, man. And so, like he's thinking like it's the po-po.
That's funny.
So when I brought out the flashlight and I said the line and it got the big laugh, I'm like, yes, because it could have went the other way. It could have been like I wouldn't have I would not have said that line if this was June. If this was after the protest, I would have been like, don't even mention it. Don't just act like nothing's, But I'm like, it's funny, like, And then another line that I said is it was along those lines. I go, the best compliment a comedian can hear is out of all the laughs and the voices in the dark that we can't see, but we hear that black lady in the back saying, "Now that's funny." Oh, it's like winning it's like winning an Oscar.
Yeah.
And right when I said that, this black lady, she goes, "That's funny. That is funny." And it was an adorable moment. I'm like, yes. Yes, screw online social media trying to click and tear us apart. Let's be together and have good times, guys.
Seriously.
I know.
Man.
Yeah. And speaking of Black, that's your last name, Mike Black Attack. Find him on Instagram. Follow Mike Black Attack. He's great. And
I'm on Twitter too.
He's on Twitter.
TikTok. On TikTok, I'm
cool.
Mike Black TikTok, but I spelled it the original way by mistake, like TICKTOCK. So
that's
follow
cool.
me on there if that made any sense to you.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to follow you because I just got on TikTok a few weeks ago and I'm having fun with it. I think I read that it's actually, I shouldn't say I read. I talked to a very famous TikToker her name is Irina or something. She's Russian. She did that show that I was just on. And she was telling me about like, she's like, TikTok actually allows you, like you can, if something hits, it'll go viral. She goes, cause like the other sites like Instagram or Facebook, they want you to pay for ads and try to get more views, but TikTok, it can really go off. So have you had some luck yet on TikTok?
Well, I'm lucky. I'm friends with Paul TikTok.
The Mark Zuckerberg of TikTok.
Yeah, he's the head of the Paul TikTok, and he makes sure that everyone sees all my videos. So,
well, you tell Paul that Darren Carter says hello, and
he'll be like, "Who?
Yeah. Hey,
he's just over it.
Have you had a video get over? Now, this sounds maybe childish to ask, but have you ever had a video get like over 1,000 like likes or views or whatever it's called?
I'm going to tell you something that's going to make you poop. I put up a video of, I'm not kidding, me showing the features of a He-Man action figure. Do you remember, did you have He-Man when you were a kid?
I knew of He-Man. I did not have He-Man, but I knew of him.
Well, they had one that was pretty cool that was called Battle Armor He-Man. And he had a thing on his chest where if you hit it, it looked like the armor had gotten dented. But then you could swipe it with your thumb and it would go back to looking normal.
Oh, cool.
And so it's kind of like a magic trick in a way. And so I was like, oh, I bet a lot of kids haven't seen this yet. So I just did a video of that and put it up. Right now, I think it's stalled at 167,000.
Wow.
900 likes.
Wow.
Or views, not likes. Like the likes are in the like 800 or something like that. But
that's amazing.
You know, a lot of views.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's like a little dopamine shot. Like, wow. Imagine that
I was like, well, it had nothing to do with me. It wasn't like my comedy or anything like that. Like if it had been my jokes, I'd have been like really stoked. But
no, Mike, this is your new closer, man. You're gonna start getting booked at country or clubs across the country, theaters, arenas.
Everyone get real close because it's gonna be hard to see.
You'll do like table magic. You'll just go table to table. Or
then like Mattel's gonna sue me. They're like, we came up with that joke. That's not yours.
Exactly. But I give you guys credit. Remember, I give credit. Yeah. You go car to car.
You want money.
Yeah, you just go car to car and do like the He-Man trick. Or you could have a camera crew and they'll just zoom in. And you're like, everyone's like, wait for it. Here comes a thumb. Wait for it. Bam. Now swipe left. That's cool. Yeah. Mike, you're the best. And we're going to follow you on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. Mike Black Attack. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, buddy.
You got it. Okay. See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That was great, man. Mike Black. Guys, if you like this show, do me a favor and please subscribe or share the link. Go to YouTube, subscribe, share any of my videos, leave a comment. Even on any of my, if you're bored one night and you're on YouTube, just go through my YouTube videos and just write funny stuff, good stuff. If you find one, just let them play in the background. It helps the algorithms. You could even turn the volume down. Like, you know, let's say you're doing other stuff, just hit play on some of those video podcasts. Just hit play, turn the volume down, get on with your day. But we just want to get people into this world, the Pocket Party Podcast, the Darren Carter business, just to help us grow and, help us be more successful. And I need your help, and I appreciate you guys. And thanks for sharing part of your day with me. I really do. And if you want to throw me a couple of shekels, I'm on Cameo.com, official Darren Carter. I'm also on Jemmy. And if you go to DarrenCarter.com, I got a PayPal button. You could throw something on there. Every little bit helps. I got a donate button with PayPal. And I'm on Venmo, at Darren Carter on Venmo. Okay, guys. Don't hurt nobody. Be careful. Lots of love. Keep shining. Keep laughing. And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite podcast.